Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us here on Chai Time. I hope you all had a great weekend. Joining me this morning are two wonderful ladies who have been talking off air, and I'm so excited to have them here for this hour to talk. They're going to share their stories, and they're going to talk about the wonderful nonprofit organization that they are involved in. So I have Cherie Plouff and Brenda Martin from the American Cancer Society Relay for Life. Together, we will explore the importance of supporting cancer survivors and caregivers and discuss the numerous services provided by the American Cancer Society Relay for Life. Good morning, ladies!
Hello! Thank you so much. Oh, pink soap! Yeah, she's just like my daughter.
How are y'all doing this morning?
We're great.
Fantastic.
We're so excited to be here.
Oh, good. I'm excited to hear a lot of things, the services y'all provide, and how y'all got involved in the organization. So much to talk about, so much
Definitely.
to cover for this hour, right?
Definitely.
So let's start by, introducing yourself and sharing your story, your journey with us here on Chai Time. So, Cherie?
Yes, so happy to go first. So I'm Cherie Plouff. Back in 2007, one of my closest friends was diagnosed with lymphoma, and his family lived out of town, but they wanted him to get treatment here in Houston. And so he often would stay with my family. I would, if his family wasn't here, I would help take him to appointments and things like that. And being at the hospital, I kind of fell in love with the practice of oncology, and just seeing that the providers who had gone through a cancer journey, whether personal or with a family member, the empathy and the care that they provided was unmatched. And so after that experience, I kind of felt like that was something that I could give back to other people. And so I had actually just graduated with my bachelor's in oceanography and completely switched gears. So I did some prerequisites. I started working at the hospital in the call center, actually, while I was finishing up my prerequisites for PA school, and then went on to get my master's as a physician assistant and went back to working at the oncology hospital. And it was my first year there where someone was like, hey, we have a Relay for Life of Katie team. Do you want to join us? And I was like, sure. Mm-hmm. And so I went, and soon after that, our American Cancer Society staff partner recruited me to join the event leadership team, and I've been a big part of Relay for Life with Katie ever since, and all kinds of roles: logistics, community lead. This year I'm doing social media, and just kind of helping out wherever I can. As a physician assistant in oncology, I get to see where the money goes, and that's why I'm so passionate about it. Early on in my career, where I was in clinic every day, there wasn't a week that went by that I didn't use some of the resources from the American Cancer Society for my patients. And so to be able to see what a positive impact that they have on our community, it keeps me coming back. It gives me the drive to keep doing more. And so I'm always excited to share the word and spread the word and invite people out to our event and things like that. So thank you so much for bringing us here today to share more.
Brenda?
My name's Brenda Martin. I worked in the medical field for 30 years for cardiovascular surgeons and then retired. My husband, I didn't know anything about Relay for Life, never even heard of it. But my husband got diagnosed 12 years ago with oral cancer. And as I was waiting for him to get treatment, I noticed a little flyer about Relay for Life, and I was like, yeah, okay, I'll pass on a relay. It's not really my thing. But as I'm sitting there waiting, I researched it some more and realized what a phenomenal, different kind of event it was. I just had never realized what they do. It is a relay in that you have someone walking the track during the whole event, but it's just not like a 5K or whatever. It is something dear to me that it's a celebration of cancer survivors and caregivers and remembering those we've lost. It is just entirely a celebration. The fundraising is very important, and that's a big part of it. But the main part to me is to honor these people and just treat them the way they need to be treated. So right then he got diagnosed in February, and I formed a team. Team KT, we're from Katy, But K is for my daughter's dear friend, Kim, who had ovarian cancer at the time. And my husband's name was Tal. Here's my hubby. At Relay in the big purple chair. So KT, and so this is year 12. And then after a couple of years, I got involved with the leadership team, mostly community outreach and trying to spread the word. You know, I live in Old Katy, and in a town that size, we had like 100 people come out to this event, which is ridiculous. 1,000 people will go downtown Katy to see snow. So it's my mission to get the word out, build the event. I've been so fortunate to recruit friends that are excited and passionate about it. So I had the opportunity this year to be the event lead. Was not my first choice. I was really comfortable in my position, but, we needed somebody to step up. And I reached out to this one who was busy and really wasn't going to be much involved, and I twisted her arm quite a bit, and she has been phenomenal. Her and Katie, it's like a co-leads. And we just have a great leadership team. But the event is interesting because it used to be overnight, and people would have a campsite and you walk, but we just changed it now. It's next Saturday, 4 to 10, and it's at Katy City Park. The city of Katy is so supportive of our event. They waive the park fees. They do anything that we need. City council all comes out. They join our team. The mayor, Mike Schofield, our state representative, is coming out. It's phenomenal. We have a big silent auction. We have entertainment. We have people that come out, and we have a whole section for survivors and caregivers. They have games and stuff. I probably would jump the gun with telling all about the event. I was supposed to tell about myself. But as you can tell, I will talk about Relay. So I'm sorry. I kind of hijacked.
There's no rule.
That's my kind of thing. My child of the 70s. But we have Katy Junior High cheerleaders come out and line the track, and we have the drum line from Katy High School, and the first lap is the survivor lap. So emotional, and so you have a team and you have a campsite out there around the track. All kinds of fun things going on. We have all these activities for kids. So we have the Survivor Caregiver Lab cheering them on. We have volunteers that take sidewalk chalk and decorate the track with all kinds of inspirational sayings. And so the theory where the term relay comes from is that someone from your team is walking to signify the cancer battle. A doctor in 1988 started the event by walking for 24 hours to raise money for the American Cancer Society and bring attention to the cancer battle and what patients go through. And kind of in the past when it was overnight, it was kind of signifying the battle. You know, you start out, you're diagnosed, through the night, you're fighting, you're battling, and then by the morning, you're through your battle and you're cancer free. You know, hopefully that's the goal. But we just want to have a good time. Yeah. Raising money's phenomenal. We set our goal, and we've passed our goal prior to the event. First time ever. Thanks to social media. And but we are still taking money in, and we have our silent auction that brings in $7-8 grand. Wow. So yeah, we're looking forward to it, and we appreciate being able to spread the word.
Sounds like fun.
Sadly, I mean, my husband beat cancer, but he had oral cancer. Had a mandibulectomy, took out half his jaw, and had a feeding tube. Had to take out all of his teeth. It was really difficult. But he was hard. He was a Vietnam vet Marine. He was a fighter, and he licked cancer. But then his swallowing was compromised, and ended up just having a lot of problems. Then pneumonia, had some strokes, and so 2 years ago in June, he passed away. But we still relay on. We have a beautiful luminaria ceremony. We sell these little white bags, and people decorate them for people you've lost or to celebrate people. And we put little lights in them. And about 9 o'clock, when it's dark, we line the tracks with that and have a ceremony. The first year after my husband passed away, relay was on his birthday, and my grandkids are so fantastic. They made all these bags for me, and I'll never forget it. But it was beautiful. It was meaningful, and it's painful and it's hard. I have so many people to celebrate. A friend of mine's daughter, Cameron Sanamo, was 21 and succumbed to a brain tumor. Another friend's granddaughter is battling right now. So it's cancer is the one thing you can say undoubtedly has touched absolutely everyone in the universe, if not directly yourself, your family member, it's a coworker, a neighbor, someone. It's everywhere, and we need to fight to raise the money, support these people with all these services that they don't even know about. I didn't, even with my husband getting treatment, I wasn't aware of a lot of these things that were available. So Cherie's really great to spread the word about that.
Yeah.
So.
Wow. Yeah, I know. We're going to talk about all the services that's provided too. More about that as well. But just listening to you, it's so heartwarming. We for us, we complain about every little thing, and then someone like you who comes full of strength and inspiration and motivation. We're thinking like how so petty we are sometimes, and you've gone through so much, but still you have this smile on your face, and you're not giving up.
And the way you talk about your husband, I really did, like you were sharing about him before, and I thought he was alive. The story, like he is really close to
I was a single mom, and he came into my life when my daughter was a senior in high school, and I had raised my daughter by myself and just was a devoted young mom. Yeah. And everybody's like, what are you going to do when she goes to college? And I'm like, I'm going to be in my mid to late 30s. I'm going to have the rest of my life. And, God sent him to me, and we had a beautiful marriage and had so much fun and stood by each other. And it was an honor to be his caregiver. He was just real sick the last week, but we got him home on hospice. The grandkids were there, the dog having a great time, and he passed away that night at home. So it was tough, but I'm blessed that he was a part of my life, and I feel like I need to continue honoring him and remembering him. And so many people we've lost. I've had a lot of other family members, but it's, his best friend and his best friend from high school have both passed of cancer. My grandmother, my aunt. It's just crazy the way it's everywhere. But yeah.
Yeah. It's so important to raise that awareness. Sometimes we tend to forget that. So I'm glad you're here.
Yeah, and to catch things early. He smoked, and he never had lung cancer, but he had a sore in his mouth. And Dr. Mora, the most wonderful dentist in Katy, he went and saw her, and she just looked at it and sent him that day to an oral surgeon who said, that day, you need to go to the cancer hospital. And, they caught, and I mean, within 2 weeks he had surgery. So, and like I said, he beat the cancer. It was difficult radiation and things like that, but catching those things, just so critical, critical.
Absolutely. So, Cherie, tell us about the services. Let's talk about, some of the services that...
Yeah, definitely. There's so much offered through the American Cancer Society. So I always encourage people to go to cancer.org. You can find, patient education resources. You can find what services are available. I mean, it's almost like the Google of the cancer world. I mean, anything you want to find, that's a good, legitimate website to go to. I always encourage patients to make sure that you're going to, a solid, truthful website. And so that's definitely a good one. One of my favorite services offered is actually a 24/7 helpline that the American Cancer Society offers. So the number for that is 1-800-227-2345. I've actually had the opportunity to go to their call center before and talk to some of the individuals working there, and it's incredible. You can literally call them for anything. You can call and say, I was just diagnosed and I'm scared. I need someone to talk to. You can call and say, hey, I was just started on this medication. I can't remember what my doctor said the side effects are. They won't give medical advice, but things like that that are available through patient education, they can share with you. You can call and say, hey, I'm getting treatment in Houston, but I don't have a place to stay. You know, what resources are available? I mean, you can literally call them for anything. It is 24/7, so, you know, I always tell patients, if you're scared in the middle of the night and you just need someone to talk to, call. These people are so fantastic. So that's definitely one of my favorites. One of the statistics that I like to share with people is that for just a donation of $30, it can help fund that phone line. So $30 can help one person find free answers and much needed emotional support through the 24/7 helpline. So if you think about how expensive it is to like go out and eat these days, I mean, you can't feed two people for $30. So to give up one meal, you know, one night out, to be able to help someone like that. Some of the other things that are really neat that the American Cancer Society offers for patients, we have something here in Houston called the Hope Lodge. There are other Hope Lodges throughout the U.S., but we, within the past few years, got one here in Houston, and it's somewhere where people who are going through treatment and their caregivers can come stay for free through the American Cancer Society while they're in town getting treatment. So that's a phenomenal resource. For $65 donation, that can provide one free night of lodging for someone here in town. They have a program called Road to Recovery. So if someone is on treatment but they can't drive themselves to treatment or don't have a caregiver to take them, you can call the American Cancer Society. They'll connect you with a Road to Recovery driver, and they can drive you to and from your appointment. So that's another one for $50, can provide one free ride through that program. There's a lot of support services. Some are cancer type specific, some are just general support groups. They have things called like Reach to Recovery, where they train cancer survivors to then help other people who are on their cancer journey. And so that's a really cool program. It helps people like me who have been on that journey either as a patient or a caregiver then be able to give back to others on their journey in a trained, you know, kind of making sure that they're able to provide the resources that the patients need. And again, tons of online resources. The other thing that's really cool that the American Cancer Society does, there's one kind of section of it called ACS CAN, or the American Cancer Society Cancer Action Network. And that's kind of the sector of it that advocates for policy change. So if you think about things like, you know, how there's no more smoking in restaurants now, part of that came from the American Cancer Society's advocacy work. There's also, even aside from like the patient resources and the advocacy, there's also a lot of money that's donated to research. So for those who are familiar with breast cancer, tamoxifen is a really common drug used in breast cancer treatment. And tamoxifen was discovered, and a lot of the research that went into developing tamoxifen was funded by some of the American Cancer Society research funds. You can go on their website and look through. That. Yeah, you can look. They have like a whole list.
I know. I love it. You can teach an old dog new tricks.
Yes. So yeah, Brenda and I are a dynamic duo. She could talk to you guys forever about Relay as an event. I could talk to you forever about the resources that ACS offers. And, you know, it's, as a provider in oncology, I often have been the person telling someone that they have cancer. And that's hard. You know, it's, that turns someone's life completely upside down. And to be able to then say, man, I know this is hard, but here's ways that we can help. It is so powerful. And, you know, everyone's struggles are different. Something I learned early on in my career, I was at a conference and someone said, you know, when you see someone crying or going through something, ask them what it is that's really making them cry in that moment. And I thought, gosh, that's a weird thing to ask. But the next day in clinic, I just told one of my patients that she had breast cancer, she was going to need a mastectomy, she was going to need chemo, she was going to need radiation. I mean, it was a big conversation. And she started crying, and of course I was like, oh gosh, she's crying because I told her she has cancer and she needs a mastectomy and all of these things. And I remembered what I learned, and so I said, you know, can I ask you what's making you cry in this moment? And she said, I'm scared when I come out of surgery, I'm not going to have my glasses on and I won't be able to see. And I hate not being able to see.
Wow.
You could have asked me for a list of 1,000 things that I would have thought she was crying about. Having glasses after surgery would not have made that list.
Wow.
And so it really changed my practice early on to kind of meet patients where they're at and find out what their needs are, what we can do to connect them with the available resources. And then on the personal side of that, like, what can I do to help advocate for these things? What can I do to help raise funds? What can I do to help raise awareness? And so that, again, that's why I've been so passionate about it. I think around the time that Brenda's husband's passed, I think that year, that week of that relay, I actually was diagnosed with skin cancer. And so all these years that I've been involved as a provider and been involved in relay, that Monday I had someone call and say, you have cancer. And it was pretty stunning. I've been on the other side. I've been the person making that call so many times. And so to hear those words, I was like, wow, okay, well, this is what it feels like. And it was hard. For a period of time, I was scared to go outside and be in the sun. And for me, like, going out and walking had been such a big part of my, like, relaxation and, you know, how I would recharge. And all of a sudden, I was scared to go outside. And just, you know, going through surgery and having reconstruction and having complications after surgery and having to have more surgery, it was challenging. And I have such great family and friend support and my relay family that really, you know, supported me through that journey. But, you know, to say that I can empathize with patients, I mean, I've been the patient, I've been the caregiver, I've been the provider, I've been the volunteer. So I live and breathe oncology care and, you know, American Cancer Society. I mean, it's day in and day out. You know, I'm very passionate about the cause.
Wow.
We are a good team.
Definitely. I know, it's just making me realize, like, you know, Relay for Life is more than that. It's more than just, you know, like, kind of like just being together, but it's more about the conversations and learning and getting to know people, their stories, their, you know, the challenges they've gone through, and you know, the uplifting stories and the you know, of hope and faith.
Definitely,
So
definitely.
those things are, I mean, I would definitely want to be part of that and you know, like that experience, right? Being together and just being the support for people, not only for people that we know, even for strangers, right?
Well, that's what I was telling her. If cancer hasn't just affected you directly, there's just so many. O.J. Simpson, I didn't even know he had cancer, and he just passed away of it. It seems to be so much more prevalent.
Yes.
And it's so good to talk about it. And speaking of being diagnosed, I remember when I was working for cardiovascular surgeons, my surgical tech got diagnosed with cancer. This Rosa, hi Rosa, still with us, but gosh, a good 15 years ago. And the doctor walked in the room and said, "You have cancer," and walked out. And she called me over at the office, and I came over immediately, and I was like, who does that? And so it's just, you know, supporting each other, being there for each other.
And I think, like you were saying, you know, kind of building the community. I had a friend call me the other day and sort of panicked and was like, I need cancer resources. And I was like, were you diagnosed with cancer? Like, was your family what kind of cancer resources? And, you know, come to find out, long story short, he was at the hardware store and a man came up to him asking for money, and so he gave him a few dollars, and the man was just crying. He said, you know, we're in town for my wife's cancer treatment. I can't afford a place to stay tonight. And he just gave him, like, he said, the biggest hug he's ever had, and just embraced him. And so he said, I didn't know what to do for him, but I knew to call you. And so I, you know, sent him all these different resources and a lot of stuff from the American Cancer Society, and just the phone number to just call and say, this is my situation. What can you guys offer, or what other community resources do you know of? And so it's that kind of thing. I always talk about my relay family. You know, Brenda's like my relay mom. My mom knows
I have to break it down to her bio,
yeah.
Mom.
Hi, birth mom.
Yeah.
She knows that I have multiple moms, and Brenda's definitely my relay mom, and we support each other even outside of our volunteer work. I've had a lot going on with my family lately. Brenda has shown up time and time again for me. Maybe we would have crossed paths otherwise, but I mean, really, my Relay of Life Katie friends are my family and my community and Katie, and that extends beyond just the work that we do for Relay. And I think a lot of people in the Katie community know of what we do, and so again, like they will call us and say, hey, I don't know what to do, but I know you're the person to ask.
Yeah.
And so being able to make those connections is really a great opportunity.
I love it.
Yeah, and now we are spreading the word past Katie.
Yes.
Definitely. We're
We love
busting
it.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, besides the event, what else does the Relay for Life do?
Yeah, so Relay for Life is kind of the big fundraiser for the American Cancer Society.
The signature.
Yeah, the signature event. So our Relay for Life of Katie, like Brenda mentioned, it's this Saturday, April 20th from 4 to 10 p.m. at Katy City Park. It's free to sign up, and we have lots of opportunities out there to participate in different activities. But we relay all year. So we'll have spirit nights, we'll have give back nights.
We've had dinners for
survivor
dinners.
Okay.
And as we've moved up the leadership chain, we're going to be doing a lot more things.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we always tell people to follow us on Facebook. Our Facebook page is Relay for Life of Katie.
Okay.
We post our events on there. We post cancer facts on there. We post resources on there.
Thanking our sponsors.
Yeah, we're so grateful for all of our sponsors. Our presenting sponsor this year is Gulf State Financial Services. They have just been a phenomenal support to us. But we make sure and shout out our sponsors on our Facebook page. And then we also have our website, relayforlife.org/KDTX. And so for anyone who's interested in learning more about our event, they can go on there. If they want to make a donation, we can accept donations through our website. So there's lots of ways to get involved. But again, even though our big event is this Saturday, we relay all year.
All right.
24/7.
24/7. Okay, so let's go on a short break, and when we return, we will continue our conversation. This is Chai Time on 103.5 Hum FM. Welcome back to Chai Time on 103.5 Hum FM. We are in conversation with Cherie and Brenda from Relay for Life. And it's been such a great half hour that we've had, and they've been sharing their story, and it's so inspirational, their own personal journey, how they got involved with Relay for Life, and just making a difference in our community. Yeah. So let's continue with our conversation. Cherie, building a community is crucial for cancer survivors and caregivers. Actually for both of y'all, how have you both been able to establish a supportive community for fellow survivors and caregivers?
Yeah, it's a great question and so vital, as you mentioned. I think over the past several years, we've tried to really honor our survivors in different ways. I think Brenda mentioned earlier, we've done a couple of survivor dinners where we get the dinners donated. Shout out to Carrabba's and Katie. They've been a huge supporter and so delicious. We've been able to host these really nice dinners and just really have that community feel. The survivors often will bring one of their caregivers with them. And so getting to meet others who have been on that cancer journey, and then for the caregivers, meeting others who have been on the caregiving side of the journey, being able to make those connections and relate to someone who knows what they've been through or going through, those have just been really impactful events for us. We've had, fun performances and, fun little auction and raffle items and things like that to really make it those fun events. And then, Brenda, I don't know if you want to talk more about what we do for survivors and caregivers at the event.
At our event, our incredible event, it's just action-packed. We start at 4 o'clock, and then we have some opening ceremonies. We have our first lap, and then I ask the survivors and caregivers. We're so lucky we have a snack shack, and Rhonda is our hospitality queen, but we get money donated. Rhonda gets money donated, and we have hot dogs, hamburgers, heavy foods like that, and snacks all night, totally free. we will not turn down any donations thrown in the jar. But so there's, no obligation for spending any money except at the silent auction. And so she has a whole section for the survivors and caregivers, and Rochelle is our lead for that. And she has set up, they play bingo, she has little prizes for them, so they have a little seated area that they can go relax. In the past, we've had a bigger meal donated. We're going to build back up to that. But she gets little cookies decorated for them, and they get a little swag bag, so they can sit there and relax and then walk around the track as they're up to it, and then hang out at their campsites. Everybody's different campsites, we're going for different competitions. So we have theme laps. We have a Mardi Gras lap and crazy hat, purple out because that's the relay color, and superhero or cape. So we'll have some little rewards. Starbucks has a team, and they're going to be giving out samples, and we have some raffles going on. But anything those survivors or caregivers need that night, we are there. It's for them. It's for them.
Okay. So what role does the community play in the healing process?
It's a great question. As we've talked about both on air and off air, this event, even though we spend all year planning for this big fundraising event, this big community event, it's so much more than that. It's day in and day out. It's the people coming up to us and saying, I don't know what to do, but who can I reach out to? I don't know what to do, but what resources are available? And so I think for us, a lot of ways we've engaged with our community this year is through our Facebook page, Relay for Life of Katie. As a social media lead, I'll post different things for people to interact with us. So I've had things like, as a caregiver, what do you do to take care of yourself when you're caring for someone else? That often can go kind of overlooked. Something I talk to my patients a lot about is, when someone's first diagnosed with cancer and they're getting chemo or they're having surgery or they're going through radiation, each of those big milestones as a community, like Brenda said, everyone's been touched by cancer. So you often can say like, oh my gosh, I know they're having surgery. That's a big deal. Or I know they were just diagnosed with cancer. That's a big deal. So often what happens is the community rallies around someone for those big milestones. Then you finish treatment. Everyone else's lives go back to normal. And our survivors are lost, right? Everything that just happened was like a whirlwind, and like things happening like you didn't choose to be on that journey. Sometimes have to get treatments that maybe you wouldn't have picked for yourself, and you do it because you know that that's the best for the long-term outcomes. And so it's that kind of right after treatment finishes phase that I really try to connect survivors with other survivors or other community members that can support them.
It's scary thinking, is it going to come back? Is it totally gone? Is it going to pop up somewhere else?
And so, a lot of times
terrifying.
when people ask about support groups and things, I say, look, I know it's crazy when you're first diagnosed and you're going through all your treatment. Like, it can be overwhelming keeping up with everything. But when I really tell people to get connected to a support group, is that initial kind of right after phase. And so many of my patients have come back and were like, I didn't think I needed it, but thank you. And so I think it's helping people kind of make that connection, and really making sure too that we're paying attention to caregivers, because you can really get burned out. And I think, Brenda, you probably can share some stories as a caregiver and how you cared for yourself going on your journey.
Yeah, it is difficult. My husband suffered for a number of years. His surgery alone, I stayed with him at MD Anderson, his 13-hour surgery, and he was there for days and days, and came home with tubes in his throat and chest tubes in his leg. And I worked in the medical field for 30 years, but I was a practice manager, not medical end of it, the business end of it. But I learned a lot really quickly. And then I also ended up with a ton of extra resources and medical items that I reached out to friends with. Okay, can I donate these to somebody? We don't need them anymore, thank heavens. But I'm lucky that I have an extremely close, supportive family. My daughter, my grandkids, my mom, my sister, my dad, brother. And you have to rely on those people and good friends. And you realize your friends that are going to be there, your friends that were acquaintances, but then are there for you. And we have to take care of each other. I read a devotional every day, and I would find out that when I needed it, it spoke right to my heart, and that really got me through. But talking to other people, you don't realize it until you start opening up and say, okay, what do you do? My stepdad had dementia, and first, before Tal even got diagnosed, I helped my mom with that, and her difficulty was just trying to get out of the house. So I made up a family schedule and assigned everyone, an hour a week. Go to the mall and get a Coke, and you have to learn to reach out. Nobody thought about that, but you have to take it upon yourself to reach out and say, I need some help. And until you face that and reach out, you're going to suffer. Because a lot of people don't know. You don't realize unless you've experienced it, what people need. It's not, and just like when someone passes away, you get this influx of food for the first week and then crickets. So we've got to continue to just support each other.
Yeah. Just a quick phone call. How are you doing? Or
Definitely. Definitely. Bring me some unsweet tea. I'm happy.
I think sometimes too, and whether it's someone who's passed away or just on a difficult journey, you want to be helpful, but you don't know how to help. So sometimes it's calling and say, well, what can I do? And when you're so overwhelmed in that situation, I don't need anything.
Nothing. I'm fine.
And so I've found that offering specific things like, hey, I'm going to the store and I'm getting cleaning
You
supplies.
did that when I was sick.
Can I get you?
Yeah, she came and dropped off a little care pack. I said, nothing, I'm fine. All of a sudden on my porch.
Yeah.
Juice, crackers, soup.
And just making sure, you can think about what you might need if you're going through that situation. And, some of our friends who have done things like meal trains for people and things like that so people can sign up so they know what to expect. Or just, hey, I'm bringing the kids to school. Can I pick your kids up on the way? Things that that they need, but they may not even know to ask for. So being specific with what you're offering.
Right.
People also don't want to ask for too much. Like, man, I need, $50 to cover a copay. You may not ask everyone that, but if you were to say, hey, Brenda, this has got to be expensive. Could I cover one of your copays? That makes it more specific, and making sure as the giver that you're also staying within your means and offering something that you're able to help with.
Well, and when Tal was in the hospital at one point in time, I was there for a week, and a friend of mine, Vicky, she came downtown to the med center, which from Katie, we like Katie. We like the birds. She made me leave, and she took me to lunch just right there. She just forced me. And having somebody just to come relieve you, it's like, go walk outside and take a break. And it refreshes you and rejuvenates you to continue being a caregiver.
Yeah. Speaking of relay moms, one of my other relay moms, Val, is our entertainment lead, and she, when I was working out of a Katie office, would sometimes just drop me off lunch because she knew I was, really busy at work or really busy with relay or whatever I was going through. And, again, just having that community, having people that are willing to just help, even if you're not asking. It really is a community, and we are so grateful for all of our friends and all of the support.
And the relay team we have this year, I've kind of increased the number of leadership team, and we all support each other, which is great. We have a group me, we're always back and forth, sometimes about relay, sometimes not, but it's a great cohesive group of random people that have thrown together, for one purpose, and it's a wonderful feeling, wonderful.
And just listening to these stories, right? I'm a crier, so I'm crying.
I know, right?
Yeah, and I have goosebumps because, for example, Cherie, you shared your story, which makes you instead of escaping from the situation, you've actually turned it around, and you are out there with empathy now and helping people. I can just see that passion in you, and making sure the community is there, that's so encouraging, and kudos to y'all, because so many, I think it's the culture we live in, right? We're so shy to ask. It's like manage it on your own, and they always
I'm
say
strong. I don't need any help.
Yes, you know.
Right.
But just like the ideas that you gave, like little things, just go ahead and do it. And you realize when you're sick, you don't ask for help, but yeah, if someone dropped it off, that you'd be so grateful, right?
Yes.
So yes, thank you. Like that's just so amazing.
Thank you so much. It's I've loved being able to practice where I live and where I volunteer. And one of the cool things about Relay for Life of Katie is often my patients will come out with their families. And you know, if you think about when you go to the doctor, you see your PA or your nurse practitioner, whoever, it's almost like you're seeing them in the professional setting. And so being able to come out and, you know, my patients and their families have met my family, and they get to see me outside of the work setting and outside of the hospital. Those have been really cool connections. And you know, my dad has helped build a lot of our life-size games that we have for Relay. My mom comes out every year and helps me run my tent. We do little on-site fundraisers. So it really is, you know, a family event. And I can remember one year where I had a friend's mom who was diagnosed with cancer, and she had surgery and radiation, and she came to her first Relay after, you know, being diagnosed, and she was like, you know, Cherie, the survivor lap was coming up. I said, come on, you got to get out there so we can celebrate you. And she said, I just, other people have it worse, so I don't feel like I should be out there. And I said, your journey is your journey. There's people who have never been diagnosed. There's people who've never had to go through that. You heard the words, you have cancer, and we want to celebrate you for, you know, what you've gone through. And so she asked me to walk the lap with her, and it's one of my favorite pictures from Relay is us walking together. And each year since, and when I was diagnosed, we walked the lap together. And shout out to her. I know she's probably listening in, and her and her family just mean the world to me. But again, it's those connections, and it's the community. And when I was diagnosed, I called her and I said, oh my gosh, like that's me now. Like I just heard those words, and I don't know how I feel about that. It's crazy. And so just being able to have that support, make those connections, and again, it's family, it's community, it's all of it.
Well, and it's funny because I substitute teach, and I teach at the elementary level, but also at Katie High School for choir. My grandkids are choir kids, and my granddaughter's in color guard. And I have spread the word to those kids, and I'm a board member for the choir. And to see the philanthropy and the feelings of care from these teenagers in our society now amazes me. And then so much so, there was a girl, I mean, there's like 150 students, but one girl, as I was subbing, her mom had been diagnosed and was extremely ill and has passed away. But she signed up for Relay. Her dad, her, and her brother are coming out, and her mother just passed away 2 weeks ago. My daughter's got a friend who is involved with a philanthropy group at school, and they picked Relay for Life as their, and they're collecting money at Katie High School this week and turning it in on Friday. All the teachers are encouraging them then, and they're coming out and volunteering. The choir is singing the national anthem, and all these honor student kids are coming out. It's amazing to see the youth grabbing on, and even people that haven't, you know, their family hasn't been touched by cancer, but they just see it and have compassion. And I hope that's the kind of generation we have. I know my grandkids, my whole family are big volunteer. I've drug them to. On Thanksgiving, we go feed people, and yeah, you know, I've pushed it off on them, but they're wonderful about it. They love it, and that's what we need to encourage. That is the future. So somebody will take care of me if I decide to get old. I might not ever get old.
You're setting all these good examples.
That's right. Get out there. Keep moving. Keep moving. That's right.
So, do people have to register for the Relay for Life?
So
like we have listeners right now and might be like, oh, I want to get on board. You know, how do they do that?
That's great. So you can visit our relayforlife.org/KDTX website.
Okay.
We do encourage people to register. It helps us know kind of how much food and volunteers and all
Be
of that
prepared.
to have.
If you register as a survivor, you get a free event T-shirt. This is our event shirt this year. I have a whole collection of the neatest sayings. This is one of my favorites. Ours says event leadership on the back, but they will get a purple one that says survivor. I have a whole slew of them for my husband. And then there's no requirement for fundraising. If you do raise $100, you'll get a gray Hope shirt. But other than that, go ahead. Sorry, I just wanted to jump.
Okay.
I love the t-shirt.
Jump on in.
Hey, if there's a t-shirt involved, I'm in it.
Yeah, so no, that's great. So again, you don't have to register, but we do encourage people to register because it is free. It helps us with planning.
But you can definitely just show up.
People can just come by day of. We will be there. The event will be open, so to speak, from 4 p.m. to 10 p.m. We actually start setting up in the morning at 9 a.m. I mean, it's a full day thing to get ready to host everyone that comes out. But yeah, we would love to have as many people that can come out. For those that can't make it, you can still get involved. Again, following our Facebook page, Relay for Life of Katie. They can make donations on the website. If they just are interested
in volunteering. If you register, it says join a team.
Yeah.
But can they just register without joining a team, or do they need to join the team KT?
So yeah, you're welcome. I know anyone will let you join their team.
Just saying.
Team Remission Clinicians.
Fun team.
You can start your own team. You can join another team. No one will turn anyone away.
No way.
And again, just show up. But yeah, if you can't make it out, if you're interested in volunteering, reach out to us on Facebook. We can let you know. We have things that are just a couple hours ahead of the event that sometimes
kids, I will give you hours.
Yeah.
For your honor society.
Full day support volunteers that come out on the day to help us set up, help us during the event, help us break down.
So many companies have donated their services. Mobile Dumps brings out the big dumpster for us. Katie Hardware gave us a $800 grill to donate off. The community of Katie has been so supportive with sponsorships. Ideal Air. I mean, NBD Graphics makes my banners. Every year we have a parade, 2 parades, and Nick Doherty makes these giant banners. I come walking in, he's like, I got you. What's your theme? Ray of Hope is our theme this year. I wanted something kind of simple but inspiring.
Yeah. So, yeah, we have sponsorship opportunities. We love to grow our event
leadership
team.
Rotary of Katie, thank you.
Yeah, and Dom McGill of Toyota and Katie. I mean, we've had so many great community supporters, but yeah, tons of ways to get involved. If people just want to know what is out there, they can reach out to us on Facebook. I'm happy to let them know. Say, hey, like, how much time are you thinking of? What part of the year or throughout the year if you want to join the leadership team? And we're happy to get people plugged in.
Well, we have such an amazing community, actually.
Absolutely.
Just listening to, the community support is there, and it's it's really nice and heartwarming to hear that. Like, our community really gets together when we need them.
Absolutely.
1,000%. We have to take care of each other.
Yes. So before we wrap up, advice or message to our listeners? I'll start with you, Brenda.
Oh, here's my advice. Is to take care of each other. 1,000%. Please get involved with Relay for Life. Obviously, it's a passion of mine, and I think it's important and critical. Take care of our survivors, our caregivers, and definitely remember those we've lost, because the majority of us have lost someone. Reach out to me. I will talk to anybody 24/7, probably about anything, but specifically Relay. And I want to definitely thank all of the support I've gotten. I was very trepidatious about accepting the lead, but I have such wonderful friends and family supporting me, and that's what's made it such a successful event, and a great time. I mean, just a wonderful time. So, and thank you guys for having us. We appreciate it so much.
Yeah, and I think for me, as a provider, I'd be remiss not to say make sure you're taking care of yourself, getting your annual screenings, going to your annual PCP visit to see what screenings you might be due for. Early detection is key. But yeah, I can't emphasize enough, there's so many great nonprofits. There's so many organizations that ask for donations, and you don't really know where the money goes. As a provider, as a patient, as a caregiver, I am telling you, these funds are going to a good place. I use them day in and day out, and I cannot say enough good things about the American Cancer Society. So
reach out and ask for help.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely.
So, like Brenda said, thank you guys so much for having us today. This has been fantastic. We love spreading the word.
Yeah, we really enjoyed this hour with you ladies. Thank you so much for taking the time out, and sharing your story, inspiring us, and, encouraging us to support this noble cause. So we truly appreciate it. Thank you, listeners, for tuning in. And, let's take care of each other. And, if you want to get in touch and get to know more about it, we will also share the website on our Facebook page as well. So we shall see you again next week, same time, same place. Signing off, Chai Time, 103.5 Hum FM.